Welcome back to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm your host, Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. We have Consensus 2018 in New York City this week. It's the world's largest blockchain conference. Joining me at MarketSite is McGary. He's the president of alliances over at Sweetbridge, and we're going to focus on frictionless global commerce. Mac, thank you very much for joining us at MarketSite today. Tell us a little bit about Sweetbridge.
So Sweetbridge is a nonprofit foundation believing in open source protocols, and we're trying to create protocols for prosperity, to create protocols that can be used by everybody to achieve frictionless commerce.
All right, so we know what blockchain is. What about the supply chain for blockchain?
So imagine the future will be where you can on your phone do a barcode on any product you buy, clothing, food, car, and be able to understand the total transparency on how that product was made, by whom, and what locations, and how to move and arrive at this location. And we believe, just like Amazon demonstrated how one-click shopping with free delivery changed the retail market, we believe in the future consumers and businesses will choose their suppliers, their products they buy, based on transparency.
Right.
That is, you only want to buy products that are made ethically and authentically.
Yep.
And right now we have that idea with fair trade, but we can't really prove it. Is this coffee bean really coming from a plantation that employs children, or use slaves, or use chemicals? We don't really know. And so now we want to move to a place of trust where people have validation on how the product was made, how it was moved, and so on.
That was a big theme at Consensus, using blockchain for social good. I mean, that's what resonated with me when we were there at the conference yesterday. But what about enterprise services for channel masters? What's a channel master?
Well, channel masters are big dominant supply chains like Cisco, Apple, Dow, Nike. They command a huge influence over their supplier network, and we're really focused on network optimization. So the blockchain is a good data store model for people to share information. So supply chain is all these decentralized organizations coordinating it for a common purpose. And for the channel master, they want to be able to say, how did I get visibility end tiers deep from the origin of the supply chain all the way to finished product?
So this will help with financial inclusion at the genesis of the supply chain.
That's right. I mean, ultimately we think with identity and a track record of success, farmers, for instance, will be able to get loans in countries like Vietnam that they can't get loans today.
Right. Well, let's talk about ICO regulation. That was another hot topic over at Consensus. How can proper regulation help with innovation in the space?
Well, right now, America's biggest export is innovation, and we won the internet technology wave, but now we're in danger of losing the blockchain revolution. And partly is because funding is easier in other countries, and so just the way the US has to think about IPOs, which are like in a decline, they're half as many as they were 10, 20 years ago, we need to have some sort of crowd sale legislation which allows us to responsibly raise non-security tokens if they are utility and they serve a purpose. And by doing so, like most countries have agreed around the world, we're going to be able to have that innovation take place at home, and then it'd be fully KYC and AML. So the irony is, by pushing it offshore, we're not actually achieving our outcome, which is we want to have validation that people are spending money appropriately.
How come everyone is not using crypto banking? It seems as if for underdeveloped countries that don't have access to traditional banking, it would be a natural fit.
Oh, it is. I mean, I think microfinancing has served its purpose well, but it hasn't scaled. I think crypto offers the opportunities for the 2 billion people who are unbanked to actually have more access to loans, and ultimately this will fuel small businesses and the rise of middle class. Now, a lot of countries don't have the rule of law, they don't really have encouraging economies, and they have high inflationary economies, so it's very hard for a farmer or a small business person in parts of Asia, South America, or Africa to actually get a loan. So we forget in America, if we've got a good track record and good credit score, we can get money. That's not true around the world. And when they get money, it's sometimes at 18 to 40% interest rate.
Right. Well, it seems to me too that if people do get access to crypto banking and they're going to become the world's largest consumers, the West is going to have to catch up.
Absolutely. I think a lot of the Western banks know that the unbanked is a huge opportunity for growth, so everybody's trying to figure out how to do it. Typically, low-income loans at small amounts have been more expensive than the profits generated. So if we can lower the cost, it helps banks decide to engage in that service, but then it makes more loans available for the people who currently can't get a loan.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us at MarketSite today, and thank you for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq.